Good day, everyone. Today we're going to highlight the topic of the nature of poetry. In order to look at the nature of poetry, we're going to take a look at a poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson. The title is The Eagle. But before we look at the poem, I want you to think about the bird, this species of bird called eagles. So I believe all of us are familiar with this bird. Now, with these images in your head, I would like you to listen to the poem.
He clasps the crag with crooked hands,
Okay, so
close
that's
to
it.
the sun in
That's the
lonely
first
lands,
reading.
ringed with the
And I
azure
also have the
world.
second
He
reading. I would
stands.
like you to compare
The
between the
wrinkled
first
sea
and the
beneath him
second reading
crawls, he
and think
watches.
about
From his
what
mountain walls,
makes
and
those two
like a
readings
thunderbolt,
different.
he falls.
Okay, this is the second reading.
The Eagle, a fragment. He clasps the crag with crooked hands, close to the sun in lonely lands, ringed with the azure world, he stands. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls, he watches from his mountain walls, and like a thunderbolt he falls.
Okay, so those are the two readings of the same poem, The Eagle by Alfred Lord Tennyson. You may notice that the major differences lies in the last line of each stanza. Okay, on the phrase he stands and he falls. You see, the first reading highlights the strength, the maybe the awesomeness of the eagle, that this bird is very majestic, right? But the second reading focuses that although this bird is very majestic, it also has weakness. The fact that he stands alone. Take a look at this image. You can see here that although the bird is very high up in the mountains, but it's alone. It is lonely, right? And then at the end, the bird falls. So here I want to highlight that although the poem is the same, but again, different reading might produce or can produce different interpretation. Okay. Now let's compare Tennyson's poem The Eagle with the following entry in an encyclopedia also about an eagle. So you can see here that although the poem and the entry in the encyclopedia talks about the same bird, eagle, but the sense that they produce are very different, right? As you can see here, the definition of eagle in the encyclopedia doesn't involve any feeling. Okay, doesn't involve with human experience. It is what differentiate a poem. Now, here are some comments from students, those who have taken English poetry before you. and they have read The Eagle, and here are their comments. I don't know why, when I read The Eagle, I feel the loneliness of the eagle in between the greatness of its surrounding. I enjoy reading The Eagle because I think this poem makes me curious. In other words, whether this poem only tell about an eagle or is it implying a message? Well, yeah, this is very common in reading poetry. Sometimes we are looking for the so-called hidden message, hidden meaning, something like that. The next comment says that I enjoy reading The Eagle because it reflects masculinity. Now, this is interesting. It raises an issue of masculinity by using personification to mirror a human being. It also shows us the message through the surrounding environment to reflect the solitary. Okay, so this is interesting. It connects um, the feeling or the quality of being masculine and the solitary. Okay, so being masculine is being alone, standing alone. That's interesting. And the last comment says that I guess the author successfully delivered his imagination about the eagle to the readers. Now, this last comment highlights the difference between how eagle is explained through a poem and through an encyclopedia. Okay, so in a poem, the eagle is explained or is described based on the poet's imagination. Okay, instead of just mere observation like the one that we found in encyclopedia. So very interesting comments. Well, simply put, poems show us not what somebody thought or what someone did or what happened. Instead, poems show us what it was like to be a person like that. So a poem takes us, well, let's say, in the shoe of that person. So we will be able to understand what that person feels, what that person experiences. Okay, um, the poem takes us to be that person. So when when we're reading The Eagle, we become Alfred Lord Tennyson. Okay, so we understand what he feels when he was thinking about this majestic bird. So that's what a poem does. So understanding that, now we're going to explore what is exactly poetry. Now here are some, well, I might say, definitions given by some of the best known poets. So according to Dante, poetry uh, is described as things that are true, expressed in words that are beautiful. And Johnson defines poetry as the art of uniting pleasure with truth by calling imagination to the help of reason. So Johnson asserts that reason alone is not enough. We need the help of imagination to really get pleasure, okay, from our daily experience. And Coleridge defines poetry as the best words in the best order, while Wordsworth says that poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. Again, feelings. And Auden also highlights or focuses on feelings by saying that the clear expression of mixed feelings. So these are how the big names in poetry defines poetry. Okay, but all of these definitions are very abstract. You can basically define all written arts with these definitions. But how to differentiate between poetry and other form of written arts? So technically, what is poetry? In terms of structure, poetry can be defined as metrical composition. So what is actually a metrical composition? Of course, you know that composition is a product of writing, right? So that's composition. So poetry is a product of writing that has a metrical quality, meaning that it is composed based on meter. So what is actually meter? We're going to talk about this. I'm going to show you a video that I have taken from YouTube. You can see in the video, the video explains what is actually meter and how it is defined in poetry and how it is used to categorize poetry. Okay, so I think that's all for this meeting, for this topic. I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you.